Hi everyone, my name is Natalie and I am a small group leader at the Ross campus for our high school girls. I'm going to be bringing you our Advent Devo for today, which is day number 12. And today we're going to be looking at a story of Elijah that's found in 1 Kings chapter 17, and we're going to be starting with verse 8. Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah. Go at once to Zarephath of Sidon and stay there. I have commanded a widow in that place to supply you with food. So he went to Zarephath. When he came to the town gate, a widow was there gathering sticks. He called to her and asked, "Would you bring me a little water in a jar so that I may have a drink?" As she was going to get it, he called, "And bring me, please, a piece of bread." "As surely as your God lives," she replied, "I don't have any bread. Only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. I'm gathering a few sticks to take home and make a meal for myself and for my son, that we may eat it and die." Elijah said to her, "Don't be afraid. Go home and do as you have said, but first make a small cake of bread for me from what you have and bring it to me, and then make something for yourself and your son. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, the jar of flour will not be used up, and the jug of oil will not run dry until the day the Lord gives rain to the land." She went away and did as Elijah had told her. So there was food every day for Elijah and for the woman and her family. For the jar of flour was not used up, and the jug of oil did not run dry, in keeping with the word of the Lord spoken by Elijah. Sometime later, the son of the woman who owned the house became ill. He grew worse and finally stopped breathing. She said to Elijah, "What do you have against me, man of God? Did you come to remind me of my sin and kill my son?" "Give me your son," Elijah replied. He took him from her arms and carried him to the upper room where he was staying and laid him on his bed. Then he cried out to the Lord, "O Lord my God, have you brought tragedy also upon this widow I am staying with by causing her son to die?" Then he stretched himself out on the boy 3 times and cried to the Lord, "O Lord my God, let this boy's life return to him." The Lord heard Elijah's cry, and the boy's life returned to him, and he lived. Elijah picked up the child and carried him down from the room into the house. He gave him to his mother and said, "Look, your son is alive." Then the woman said to Elijah, "Now I know that you are a man of God, and that the word of the Lord from your mouth is truth." Now, there are a couple of incredible things that have happened during this time where God has provided for not just Elijah, but also for the widow and for her son. So if you put yourself in that widow's shoes, I'm sure that you can feel just her hopelessness a couple of different times in this story. So first of all, she was on her way home to go make a last meal for her and her son, and then just to wait and die. But God provided. But God. The jar of flour, the jug of oil never ran dry. The second thing that happened in this story was that her son passed away. And when he died, Elijah prayed to God that he would bring him back to life. And once again, God provided. God showed not just his power in this situation, but also his love and his care for the widow and her son and for Elijah. So my question is, where in your life have you seen God provide when it seemed like there was no hope at all? I can't tell you how many times in my life that I can look back on circumstances and have felt very hopeless. I didn't feel like God was there, but I can tell you that time after time after time that God has provided, and he has provided the things that I've needed. Not always necessarily in my time frame, because God has a different timing than we all do, but I can promise you this also, that God's timing is perfect. There is a passage I want to share with you in Isaiah chapter 40 that talks about this. Starting with verse 28, it says, "Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary, and they will walk and not faint. Won't you pray with me, please? God, as I look back at my life, I can see that you have always provided for me, even if it wasn't in the way that I expected. Help us, God, to remember that you are always faithful and that we can count on you to be with us through anything that we go through. Amen. So our challenge for you today is a good one. It's to ask your parents if they would be willing to donate like $20 to a place like Compassion International, International Justice Mission, Matthew 25 Ministries, or any other ministry that White Oak sponsors in place of one of your gifts that you're going to get for Christmas. So that's the challenge. Hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for joining us.